What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Hopefully you guys are doing well, and I know it's indeed been a while since the last upload on this channel, but today's a very important day on FIFA Ultimate Team because we do have icon swap set number 3. As you guys can see, 8 weeks to go ahead and get yourself 18 player tokens, 4 weeks to do the first 9, and then another 4 later onwards to do the second set of 9. Once again, I don't like how they split it, but it's just the way that EA do, and you guys are going to be able to go ahead and complete this throughout team the season. So in today's video, boys, we're going to be checking out, of course, the objectives as well as also all the options, maybe letting you guys know which options you should potentially go ahead and prioritize and maybe go ahead and take. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video for today, and if you do, don't forget to hit subscribe and hit a big old thumbs up. But anyway, let's start off with the objectives. First of all, I think this is pretty standard. It's pretty normal as per usual. We've got 3 1 league objectives. These could all be done in friendlies. And then these ones usually contain 5 squad battle ones, as well as also a FUT Champs one. So 13 games for FUT Champs wins. This can be done in both playoffs and finals, so you don't have to be too top tier. You don't have to qualify for the finals. I think if you're semi-competent in FIFA, you should be able to do these 13 FUT Champs match wins. It shouldn't be too hard for you as long as you put in the effort and the time for that. So very, very easy to do for the majority of the hardcore FIFA player base. Now, this is the one that normally takes up the most amount of time. We've got 30 wins required for icon swap squad battles, but of course what you guys can do is combo these up. I think what you'd have to do is you'd probably have to go either Brazilian MLS or you'd have to go English MLS, and then what you can do from there is you can go silver with the other one between Brazilian and England, and then as long as you have first owner players, you can reduce this down to about 12 games, which is probably the most ideal situation. So maybe try and combo these up to reduce your time, because I know squad battles can be very tedious. But that's the first 6 tokens, and then of course we do have the friendlies. I believe this one has 6 games total up. We got fine finisher with 6 finesse shots, 5 through balls, and then you need to win 6. And then I think the most annoying one out of these 2 is probably going to be a league. Even though the League One teams are usually a bit better, the crossing class is going to be a pain, because crosses are just not fun to try and go ahead and grind throughout icon swaps, just general, any friendlies mode. I don't like when they do crosses or headers or outside the box shots. Kind of annoying, but luckily we only have one of these this time round, and I think this one's also just a through ball situation. So through balls shouldn't be too hard. They're pretty common, but the crosses are going to be a bit of a pain. But that's your whole situation for the icon swaps objectives. Once again, if you guys are doing friendlies, just try to do goal and goal. It makes it easier for the entirety of the community. Also speeds up your own process as well, and you guys will be able to get the tokens pretty quickly. But anyway, boys, let's move onwards. We do have ourselves, of course, the icon swap set of rewards, and we're going to start off by talking about the players. First of all, we do have Edwin van der Sar. I believe he is 5 tokens, as you guys can see right there, and it actually says, okay, wait, no, they've got the description wrong for this one. It says 3 tokens for a 25 pack, but no, it is 5 tokens for Edwin van der Sar. And honestly, I don't think this is a bad selection. Again, it's an icon keeper, depends if you need one. Throughout team this season, we're going to be getting a lot of keepers that are very top tier, so you don't particularly need one if you can find the links for it. But if you need an icon keeper, Edwin van der Sar is usually one of the best. The only thing about him is he's a bit slow coming out the goal with the 42 speed, but he is, I believe, 6'5" or 6'6", and yeah, he's 6'6", and he's usually a very annoying keeper to come up against. They always have a bit of a pain, and a lot of pros use this keeper as well. So if you're looking to go ahead and get yourself an Edwin van der Sar for 5 tokens, I don't think it's that bad of a shout. He's usually also a pretty expensive keeper usually, but yeah, it is a keeper. That's something you do have to consider. And once you have a keeper, you don't really need more than one keeper, right? So that's the deal with him. Now, moving upwards, we do have Kenny Dalglish, 7 tokens. I've actually played with this card, so I can give you guys a bit of an idea about what he's all about. Very lethal striker. Unfortunately, he only has 4-star skill moves, so you don't have the ability to Elastico, etc., all that sort of good stuff. But he's good with the dribbles. He's very lethal, and I think for 7 tokens, if you're looking for an icon striker, it's actually not that bad. You can get this now, and you can put in your team, depending where your team's at. This is a card that you could potentially go ahead and get. Now, I will say the passing on him is pretty shocking. You guys can see it at 79. Even though he does have, I believe, like decent... no, he doesn't have good vision, but he's got good short passing. Even if you put an engine on him, his passing is still very suspect. That's one thing I did notice. But if you're one of those players that plays in behind, you don't need the 5-star skills. You want the fast, pacey striker that's got a good 5-star weak foot. It's a good option for 7 tokens. And depending on how your team is, you can go ahead and put this in right now. So I don't mind it. I don't hate it if you want to do that. it's not a bad shout. And then, of course, on top of that, we do have the Brazilian icon Roberto Carlos. I actually really like this option because for 8 tokens, you're going to get yourself a very, very fun player. Now, what I would say, of course, is there are some weaknesses with Roberto Carlos. You do have 2-star weak foot, you do have 3-star skill moves. He is 5'6", which means you're going to be vulnerable to the back post crosses. But what you do have with this card is just unbelievable free kicks. I think everybody knows when you've got Roberto Carlos behind the free kick, it's usually like 50 to 70% of the time, if you got a if you're good at free kicks, it's usually a goal. This card's unbelievable with the free kicks. Obviously as well, the Brazilian links and a very, very big Real Madrid legacy. So yeah, if you want to do it, I think it's a fun card. I think a lot of people usually, when they use Roberto Carlos, they're like, you know what, I'm happy to have him on my team because he's very solid, and then he's also very fun on the free kicks, and he's good at on going forward. Again, it's just the skill moves in the weak foot that maybe turns you off it a bit. But yeah, and I think also as well with left backs, I think we do have João Cancelo. But I think when it comes to the other two, I guess we also have Marcelo as well. So if you wanted to do Marcelo instead for your main end game team, maybe this isn't a card that you put in. But besides those two, before team of the season at least, I think the drop off is pretty severe, and I put Roberto Carlos, at least I would say, on to that sort of level of tier, maybe in between the top tier and the middle tier. So yeah, for 8 tokens, for one that you can get right now, I don't think it's that bad of a shout. I think if you want to get it, go get it. Now, also, one final one that you can get right now within the next week is Georgie Best. The one thing with him is that he is got incredible dribbling stats. I didn't realize this until I actually saw the moments card, but he's got 98 dribbling, and he's a pain to deal with in game. I've played up against him with people who've got very good left stick dribbling, and this card's unreal. You can definitely play him as a cam role in the attacking, like the strikers as well. Good shooting, as you guys can see. I don't know what you would probably boost on this card. Maybe you do something like a hawk. I don't know if that's right. Maybe you want to boost up the passing a bit. I definitely would boost up the shooting a bit because the shot power is only at 90, which I know is kind of crazy, but that shot power is very, very important. But again, yeah, he's a very, very good card. I would assume he's about 1 million coins in the market. Maybe less than that. I don't know entirely. But George Best is usually very good in FIFA. The one thing I would say, though, and it's the same thing I guess that goes with Kenny Dalglish, is that you're probably going to get more team of the season cards that maybe are a bit more fun to play with or a bit better to play with coming into team of the season or throughout team of the season. I would say George Best probably stays longer in a team than Kenny Dalglish does, though. But the one thing you do have to consider as well is that he is a wide icon, which is a bit harder to link into teams versus a central icon, because you can put that central icon in like a 4-5-1, and then you've basically just like locked off that striker spot, right? So that is something you do have to consider. But it's a very, very good card, and for 9 tokens, I think that's extremely reasonable. Now, moving on upwards, we do have Samuel Eto'o, 11 tokens. What I would say is, I think on PS5, from what I've played against, I don't really think Eto'o's that crazy. And it's a bit of a shame, because he's usually like a very, very good card. At least last year he was. But I think if you're on PS4, this guy's a very good running behind striker. I just think the fact that you're going to be waiting for the next set of tokens, 11 tokens is required for Eto'o, I think it's probably more worth it to either go and try and get a best or a Kenny Dalglish instead, and then use your second set of tokens later onwards. That's what I would personally say with this card. I think it's probably just priced a bit too high, but again, if you want this card, I guess if you're a Barcelona fan as well, maybe a Chelsea fan, I guess also in there as well. He's played for a lot of clubs, wow. I know the Barcelona is the one that mainly comes to mind, but yeah, I don't really think Eto'o's anything crazy, especially on PS5 this year. I think he's a bit meh with some of the stuff. Again, he's only got the 4-star 4-star comparatively to some of the other stuff as well. But yeah, if you get him in front of it, he will shoot and he probably will score most of the time. Just again, with this year when you need a like ISO ball on PS5, he's not the most movable, unfortunately, comparatively to some of the other ones. But he's a good card, definitely. I just think for 11 tokens, it's a bit too pricey for me, personally. Now, moving on upwards, we do have an amazing player here. And I thought they were actually going to drop him, because if you look at the icons that are out right now, we've got Patrick Vieira, we've got Cantona, I think we've got Henri, Maldini. So I was looking at what they could do for like a high-tier option for this icon swaps, because they normally price the swap tokens about 200 to 150k each. And for 14 tokens, you got yourself Lothar Matthäus, which honestly is one of the best midfielders. I think I would say top 3 icon midfielders within FIFA this year. I think you put Gullit and Zidane above him, but besides that, Matthaus is an absolute beast. Now, the thing with him is he doesn't have the 3-star skills, the 4-star refit, so if that's something you got to consider and you don't like, then that's something you got to deal with. He's also only 5'9", but he does feel a bit taller than that, I feel, in game, and he's definitely a bit stockier. And the one thing with him is he's got incredible attacking stats as well, but you've also got the defensive stats to kind of combat that as well. 95 stamina, she's going to be running all the time as well. I think this is an unbelievable option, and I don't know if this means that we're going to get icon moments Lothar Matthaus through icon like crafting ability, like in the icons tab over here. I don't know if that's going to be the case, if we're going to actually be able to do that. But if we don't, and you want to get Matthaus, this is a very, very, very reasonable price. I think the fact that like maybe it's to do with the prices in the market, but Matthaus for me is an unbelievable midfielder. Eto'o's kind of like a semi-mid-tier attacker, so I don't know like why they're so closely priced. I think I would price Eto'o like maybe on the same level as George Best, I would say, but yeah, I think this one's not too bad of an option. If you want to take it, I think it's great. And then finally moving upwards, we do have one final player, and it is the Prime Ruud Gullit for the maximum amount of tokens that EA are going to ever require for these usually, and it is 17 tokens. And a bit of a shame, of course, not to see the Moments Gullit. I think it's just a bit too expensive. He's what, like 6 million coins right now. Maybe you could have seen him in the fourth set of icon subs, because they did that last year. But the deal with this Gullit is that he actually has the better hair traits than the Prime ICON Moments in game. Of course, the one thing though for me, I'm probably not going to do this one just because I know it is Gullit, and I know he's incredible, and honestly, even in 4 weeks' time, he's probably still going to fit into your team. But the thing with this Gullit, though, is that he doesn't have a dynamic image, and for me, I like that dynamic image stuff. Maybe that's just me, but yeah, if you want to go get this Gullit, honestly, he'll be an endgame midfielder for you, usually in most FIFAs. Chuck a shadow on him, you've pretty much got almost 90 plus stats across the board, and this card is unbelievable. I think last year he wasn't too crazy, but from what I've heard from most people who've played with him this year, he's back to like his regular playing top tier ability, and he's like dominating midfielders. I think he's probably like up there. He's probably the best midfielder in this game, and I think the only card that comes really close to him right now stat-wise is probably Jude, I want to say. But that being said, though, again, we do have team season right around the corner. That could change a lot of stuff. There's some very, very big cards coming out. So, yeah, if you want to do Gullits, I don't mind it. I think from all of these, the ones that I don't really like, I think the only one's really Eto'o for the price. But I think the rest of them are priced pretty alrightly. Now, let's have a look at the packs, of course. We've got to go back to the packs. And first of all, let's take a look at the fodder packs. They've actually dropped 4 of them this time, which is definitely a big change. And it's beautiful for Team of the Season. And if you want to save some of these for Team of the Season, I can very, very much understand. You've got the 82 times 25. Gorn is the 81 times 25. And it's available for 1 token. So you can actually claim this with any sort of like remaining token that you have, which is great. Because I know last year and last one, we had 2, 3, and 5, right? So if you had 1 token remaining, you couldn't do anything. Now you can do something with that, which is beautiful. We've got the 83 times 25 and then the 84 times 25 going up 2 and 3, of course, tokens. What I would say is the higher you can get, the much better pack it is, honestly. The 83 times 25 is significantly better than the 82 times 25, and we haven't seen what the 84 times 25 can hold this year, but if you've got a specific league that you want to save for Team of the Season for, this is a beautiful pack to go ahead and do that. And then also on top of that, you can also get yourself an 85 times 20, which is a big pack. If you guys know, the best packs last year were the 85 times 10 repeatables. You get double the amount of players in this, so this is a huge pack. Only 5 tokens as well, which is amazing from EA. And I think for Team of the Season, what you could claim if you really wanted to is the 85 times 20, as well as also the 84 times 25 and the 82 times 25. I believe that's 9 tokens all up to total, and maybe that's something you want to do to try and get yourself some Team of the Season cards. I do think Team of the Season is going to be very cheap this year with just the supply level that's going to be coming in, but yeah, I think this is a great option if you want to try and hit yourself some big Team of the Season ones. Now, also on top of that, we do have a 91 attacker / mid icon moments pack. I'm not crazy about this because there's a lot of very mids and attackers that are higher than 91. Obviously, it cuts out a lot of the, like, I wouldn't even be surprised if it doesn't cut out that many icons. I guess the big ones are the defenders. But you've got cards like Shearer, like Owen, Who else would be in there? Like Inzaghi, of course. I believe Inzaghi's still 91, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a lot of icons in there that can be in this set. Porsche goals, Gerrard, Lampard, etc. That you're just not going to really be that crazy about. Of course, I believe it's the only icon pack, I think, maybe. Oh, no, we do actually have one here for a token. So yeah, I think if you're debating between the two, and you want to take an icon for the first set, I think you definitely go ahead and get this 93 icon moments pack over that one. There's still a lot of very meh icons, but of course this one you can get right now. And I think the 93 plus moments attacker pack, 93 moments pack just generally no attacker. I think it'd be a much better pack than this one personally. Even though you do cancel out the defenders, just the level of players you cut off and the higher tier cards you get in this one, it's a bigger chance to get yourself an R9, Ronaldinho, in my opinion, all that sort of stuff. So that's what I would kind of go with. If you got a debate between the two, definitely go for the 8 over the 6. Now, moving upwards, again, these are only going to be available after 4 weeks. We do have a 91 plus Icon Moments player pick. It's 1 of 3, which I don't mind. And again, it's pretty cheap for an Icon Moments player pick, which is quite sick to see. I don't know if it really cuts off all too much, but again, it's probably not a bad shot to get. The thing is, though, is you're going to be waiting 4 weeks time for this. And I think the big thing that we've got to realize, right, with this like whole icon packs and stuff is that EA, as soon as people were able to go ahead and claim the last set of stuff, so the Primal Moments pack as well as also the icon pick, they released both of them as SBCs in like the following weeks. So don't think you're missing out if you don't take one of these. I think we're going to see a lot of these sort of packs throughout Team of the Season, and if you don't go ahead and take one of them, I don't think it's the end of the world personally. So yeah, that's the way I personally see it. But again, like, I don't think it's a terrible option. Just you got to wait 4 weeks for it. Now, moving upwards, we do have a 94 plus Icon Moments pack. And I'm actually going to track over to Footbin real quick because I want to show you guys what is available from this tier of players. And it's actually incredible how many good players there are. Lothar Matthäus, to be fair, honestly, is one more token. He's a 2 million coin card. So EA is probably pricing this about like a 1.7 million coin pack, if you would think about that way. But honestly, you've got some very, very good cards in here. I guess the thing is with this year's My Icon Moments, they're so cheap. But these are like mostly, I would say, from like probably Lev down. That's probably all of your L's. You're not going to be happy with the best because you probably could just done him for 9 tokens. And then I guess also on top of that, you do have Garrincha, who's very top tier. I prefer Garrincha over best, definitely. Cantona's there. He's also craftable right now. Same with Thierry Henry. And then, of course, you're going upwards. You got your Maldinis, your Zidanes, the Puskas is here with the 5-star, 4-star. You say, yo, unfortunately, Diego Maradona's not going to be in this pack, unfortunately, just because, of course, he's 5-star, 4-star. But yeah, you got your R9, etc., Pele, Ronaldinho, Hulk, Cruyff. So very, very, very decent pack. I quite like that one. Again, the thing is, though, it's not a pick. So you're not going to have the choice. If you do get one of those cards you already have, you're not going to have the choice to, like, choose someone else, right? So that's kind of the conversation. But I do think you've got some very good options with that pack. Now, for 2 more tokens, you mosey and upwards, and you get yourself a 93 Icon Moments player pick. And I will say the difference between 93 and 94 is actually huge. It's a 1 of 3, and you guys can see if you add in 93, you've got a lot more, like, very iffy sort of icons. You're talking about your Ronald Koemans, your Rauls, even if we go down a bit more, your Van Nistelrooys, Gary Lineker, Bobby Moore, etc. So you see how many like meh sort of icons that come in. But again, this might be a situation where you've got like 3 options and one of the best options is there available. It's basically like having 3 93 plus Icon Moments packs essentially, except you only get to choose one. So yeah, I mean, I would probably like packs over picks. I do think this one's not that bad considering how many players it does cancel off from 93. But I maybe would say this one's probably better. And I think, honestly, if you had to go between this one and this one, because this is a 1 of 3, 93 plus, this one's a 1 of 5, just general Icon Moments pick for 16 tokens. I think I'm probably taking this one over this one. Just for the fact that it's like, what are the chances that you get 2 cards that are 92 rated or lower? I think it's pretty high. So the fact that you guarantee yourself the 1 of 3 93 plus, I think, and you also get the extra tokens, so you can get yourself the 84 times 25 instead of the 83 times 25. I think honestly I'd be taking this one over this one. That's what I would probably say. But yeah, I guess if you want to do the 1 of 5, if you want to have those 5 options, that's something available for you. And then I think the last one that we have, and I believe this is the one, I could be wrong, but this might be the one that I got Moments Gullit out of last year. But it's the 93 plus mid and attacker icon moments player pick. And once again, I'll direct you back over to here. And once again, you guys can see that we do have some pretty iffy ones. We've got Ruud van Nistelrooy, Gary Lineker. I think Seedorf's already in there now because you've got the mids as well. Dennis Bergkamp. So you've got some pretty iffy sort of players. You only have 1 of 3. But again, the high tier for this when it comes to the 93s, pluses, attackers, and mids is incredible. Zidane, as well as also Dino, Cruyff, Gullit, Ronaldo. So if it's something that you maybe want to go for, I think honestly, if you're doing a send for like one of the top tier icons, your R9s, your Cruyffs, your Gullits, etc., I think probably that pick, the 17 token pick, is probably your best option and your best chance to get one of those boys. But again, though, it is 17 tokens. You have to craft it, you have to grind it throughout the next 4 or so weeks. It just depends if you want to try and aim for those ones. But I think you should be, I would hope so. You should be able to get yourself, I think you'd be very unlucky not to get one very, very, very usable player. So that would be the whole of it all. But yeah, so those are the options. I think some very, very tempting options. I'm actually not sure what I want to take this year. Just because I think also as well, like if we come to the later stages of TOTS, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these like picks and packs are craftable. We already got icon moments packs and prime icon player picks, so I think EA is kind of already tempting us that way. In the next month we probably will have those. And again, also on top of that, we've also got like a lot of these like very craftable icons, so maybe guaranteeing myself one of the icons that maybe might not be craftable might actually not be that bad of a shout. But I think when we talk about combos, if you're going to go for team of the season fodder, these 4 packs are very, very good. I think if you're going to go straight for fodder straight away, get yourself the 84 times 25, the 85 times 20, as well as also the 82 times 25. I think if you want to take an icon right away, I don't mind Kenny Dalglish. I don't think he's top tier though. I think team season cards will probably overlap him. I'm fine with Roberto Carlos if you want to go ahead and do that. And I guess also George Best is a pretty decent option. He'll probably last a bit longer when it comes to team of the season for those sort of cards. So between those, decide what you want, and then maybe fill out with some icon fodder packs. And then I guess if we're thinking about a bit longer term, we do have Eto'o. Again, I don't think he's worth the 11 tokens. When you look at the other options around him, I'd probably price him in at about 9. I wonder how much Eto'o is actually on the market. I actually don't know. I don't think I can see. Yeah, so he's 1.35 and George is 1.1. So yeah, I think honestly, like, I think if it was like 10 or 9, especially since the fact that you're gonna have to wait another set, I think you'd have to go and say that if you are gonna take Eto'o, I don't think it's a great option just because you have to wait another 4 weeks to go ahead and get it. Whilst you can get George Best right now. So yeah, I'm not crazy about Eto'o. But I think Lothar Matthäus honestly is a great option if you wanted to take it. You're left with 4 tokens left over afterwards. And you from that can probably go ahead. I would probably take the 84 times 25 and the 82 times 25. So you could do these 2 to start off for this season. And then maybe also as well on top of that, you could take yourself the Lothar Matthäus. Obviously, Gullit's also here as well, and then you'll be taking yourself an 82 times 25. You got to know if you really want Gullit, though. That's the real question. Do you want Gullit? If so, then maybe you consider this one. But again, for me, I'm not crazy about it just because it's not a Moments one. I think it's just the Prime. So I'd prefer the Moments one, personally. That's just me. I like the dynamic image. Even though he's got the worst hair in game. That's something you got to do consider. But and then I guess for the packs, I would probably say that this is your best option if you're going to go and take like a top tier one. If you're looking for a top tier player, we're talking your Ronaldinhos, your Cruyffs, your R9s, etc. That's probably the one you definitely go for, the 1 of 3 player pick with the 93 plus attacker and mid. I know you do cancel Maldini, but honestly, Maldini's craftable right now, and he's really the only like very, very top tier center back. So I guess Carthew's there, but he's only like 800k, so he's not that hard to achieve, I personally think. And then I guess if you're going a bit lower tier, I don't actually mind this one if you wanted to take it. You could do a ICON Moments pack, 94 plus. You don't get to like pick between them, but you do cancel off a lot of players, and you do also have the chance to go and get yourself what? So that was, I believe, how much was that? I can't even remember. That was 13 tokens, so you could actually go ahead and get yourself the 85 times 20. So that if you want to do that, I actually think that's a really good option, actually. To get yourself an 85 times 24 team season, you open up right now. You can get that throughout team season, some very top tier players that maybe go into your team. And then in the second set of tokens, you could go ahead and take this one with the 94 Icon Moments pack, and you have a pretty high chance of getting yourself a good player. Again, it's not a pick, but there's a lot of really good players in there, and once again, it does cancel off a lot of players, so I don't mind that option if you want to take it. Yeah, I guess if there's any other combos, I don't really know if there's really any other major combos I'm missing out on. Roberto Carlos, again, I think is a good option, but yeah, I guess it's just comboing up whatever you want from icon packs, as well as also with the fodder packs. I think the fodder packs definitely, though, if you can try and get them in the first set, that's really important, just because you're going to be able to open them up when Team of the Season is more expensive. As you guys know, when Team of the Season goes along, the leagues get cheaper and cheaper usually most weeks, besides maybe the top tier players like your Messis, your Mbappes, etc. Just because we have so many more options in the game, it kind of like devalues having a very top tier Team of the Season card. And I think so many cards this year are really boosted that I can't really see Team of the Seasons being all too expensive with the prices of some of the really cheap cards. Like, you're thinking about a Jude Bellingham, which in my personal opinion is one of the best midfielders in this year's game, and he's about 1.2 mil. So I can't really see the levels of like a Kai Havertz that we used to have back in like FIFA 19, FIFA 20 being all the way up at like a 2.53 million coin price. I just can't see it this year. I think it's going to be a very cheap market. When you consider as well with the icon moments, like you got useable like 3.5 mil, you know, so should be a relatively cheap like icon moments, and then also Team of the Season year, which is great to see, you know, because I love the fact that you guys are gonna be able to get as many players as you want to try out. That's the beauty of it all. But yeah, I guess that's the review for icon moments. A brief little summary: if you want to take the fodder packs for this set round, I think that's a beautiful shout. Once again, I don't mind Kenny. I just don't think he's gonna be last that long. I think Best is the best out of the icons you can take now, and I think if you wanted to do that now, he'll do pretty well for you throughout Team of the Season. I don't mind this pack. I definitely take this one over this one, then fill out with fodder for the meantime. And then if you're gonna go for the top tier icons, Matthaus is great. Eto'o I don't really rate that much because of the price and how long you're gonna have to wait for him. Gullit is also very good. This is the best pick. And then also on top of that, I actually don't mind this pack. I think that one's pretty good as well. But let me know what you guys are going to take down in the comments below. I'm actually not too decided right now, and I guess we've got a bit of time, obviously, because Team of the Season is starting next week, but the big leagues aren't going to start until the week after, so we do have a bit of time to think it over, and I might talk about it with like chat and just see what I'm going to take just generally overall. But anyway, boys, that's going to do it for the video for today. Hope you guys found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to hit a big old thumbs up, and if you are new around here, don't forget to subscribe. And anyway, take care, have a good one, much love, and peace.